going out of style. But at the same time, Madam Speaker, you ask the Finance Minister, what's that? Thank you, Madam Speaker. The point that I'm making here is that they have been wasting our monies on soft expenditure. Soft expenses, Madam Speaker. Now, Madam Speaker, well, be up to date with all of the international agencies and go jet setting to Geneva, go to Brussels, while the people here have to drive on bad roads. You continue that. So it was about a priority issue, Mr. Prime Minister. And by the way, I will appeal to you that from now on, you make sure that every single request for travel comes to your desk, and you make sure that you prioritize those travels. You cannot continue in the way that you've been allowing them to travel willy-nilly all over the place. You've got to stop it, Mr. Prime Minister. You must take responsibility. Madam Speaker, going on to food and beverage. All the parties and so on that they're having, Prime Minister's party, taxpayers have to pay for it. On the Labour Party, Madam Speaker, on the $3 million. On the UPP, projected for next year, $13 million. Waste of money. Waste of money, Madam Speaker. The next area, Madam Speaker, is vehicular supplies. I presume things like tires, gasoline, and so on. And you know we have all those sport utility vehicles on the road now, not only ministers, but other functionaries and certainly supporters of the UPP. They're driving them all around the place. It may have been bad under the Antigua Party, but it has gotten exponentially worse under the UPP, Madam Speaker. Vehicular supplies, we spent about $200,000 in 2003, Madam Speaker. You know how much they spent for this financial year? It's about $5 million. And when we go to investigative services, the government during the last 2.5 years, 3 years, Madam Speaker, in terms of the projections for 2007, would have spent on average about $3 million a year investigating whomever or whatever. Now, Madam Speaker, the Antigua Labour Party in 2003 spent zilch in investigative services. So, Madam Speaker, it's obvious that they are on a witch hunt. They are wasting our resources, going on after individuals. And let me say here to you, Madam Speaker, I am absolutely convinced that the Honourable Attorney General has been given bad advice to the Cabinet. Because at the end of the day, based on what they're doing, they would have incurred perhaps about $15 to $20 million in costs for investigative services if they continue this trend, which taxpayers will be called upon to pay. But, Madam Speaker, to what end? You spent $20 million to recover what? And, Mr. Prime Minister, I want to tell you that you are letting down the people of this country. You must stand up when they come to you with their bogus things and they want to spite people and go after members on the other side and other members in the public. You must let them know that you're not into that. Let them know you're about delivering values for the people of this country. And I want to tell you, if I was the Prime Minister of this country, I would have fired the Attorney General for spending all that money, Madam Speaker, and certainly without delivering any results whatsoever. In fact, Madam Speaker, I believe that the Attorney General should voluntarily resign, save the Prime Minister the trouble. I know your government is young. I know that it's only 2.5, 3 years. I know you want to stay in there for long, but you got to stand up and make hard decisions, Mr. Prime Minister, member for St. John's Rural West. You can't let them continue to run away with the ball, because at the end of the day, the buck stops with you. So, Madam Speaker, within the last 2 years, the UPP government, under the distinguished member for Rural East as the Minister of Finance, who claims, Madam Speaker, that he's been controlling expenses, would have increased the soft expenses by $45 million per year during the last 2 years. Madam Speaker, based on the monies that they're spending there, there's absolutely no justification for the stabilization fund. It is the stabilization fund, Madam Speaker, that has funded those increases. Increases so they can be up to date with all of the international organizations, so they can go jet setting, so they can get chairmanship. And you know, Madam Speaker, they behave as though these chairmanships are big things. They get it by rotation. You don't have to be bright to be chairman of any of these international organizations.